Is it evening for you? Oh my goodness. Right? You're like in Australia, aren't you? It's just brand morning for me. It's like 9 a.m. It's the crack of dawn, I guess. I've been up since like 5, but yeah, early here. Welcome back. How are you? Taking a look at all our platforms. I don't think we'll be live on TikTok today. I'm not sure what's going on there. No, I am live. That's weird. Okay, there's not a live section, but I can live stream to TikTok. I guess no one will watch, but it's cool. We're here. That's all that matters. Atlam, how are you? I am so confused by this because I've been watching reports all day that the live section on TikTok is gone. But I assume that it's just not like feeding into people's feeds and you could still watch it if you go to our page. Interesting, to say the least. Making a calendar and Zodiac? That's an interesting combination. Love it, love it. Well, now that we know that we've got voice and video working, let's go ahead and, hey, Silk. Thank you for the follow over on Twitch. Much appreciated. Hey, it's your first stream? Well, congratulations. So, welcome one and all to Mapmaker Monday. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. There's a lot of confusion today other whether we would be live on TikTok because TikTok was down and then it was back up and there's no live section in US, but I can stream to it through the Streamlabs app, so it's working. I am live at the moment. Jim, how are you? Welcome back. Silk, well, welcome to the stream and welcome to, well, I'll let you pick. We let anyone that's new on the stream choose which faction they want to be a part of. So do you want to be part of the Dam fam, the Dam Nation, or the Damily? Hey, Collins, how you doing? So anyone who is an owner of Dungeon Alchemist can pick a faction, and the different factions are reflections of like our community's just funny nature. But when you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it's saved as a .dam file, which is our proprietary map format, which stands for Dungeon Alchemist Map. Damily? Nice. Nice. Well, welcome. Honestly, it's always fun to have a new face in the stream, and I just want to let you know that today's stream is called Mapmaker Monday for anyone who is new here, and for anyone who isn't, welcome back. Mapmaker Monday is a focus on building a map live in real time for the community to watch and learn and contribute ideas to the build. The current build is an ancient cemetery that we've been working on at about an hour a week for the last few months, well, like 2 months or so. And it started with this corner here with like a little entry roadway, and then it's expanded into, you know, graves, fancier graves, and the like. We have this lovely cathedral with a beautiful walkway around it and a garden with, you know, all sorts of... No worries, Silk. But the last stream or two, we focused on building this section of the cemetery, which is essentially the graves of the various clergy members of this, you know, religion. So the paladins, clerics, priests, etc., nuns, whatever. Martyrs for their religion in this kind of plot there. And then over here, last week we started on this section of the build, which I am calling the caretaker's property. So this massive cemetery would likely have a caretaker looking after it, cleaning up the weeds and the trash and making sure that all the graves look nice. And anyway, I started building his home last week, and this is kind of where I got to. So I wanted to give the it does look stunning so far. Thank you. Thank you. But I wanted to give the caretaker of the massive cemetery a nice little property to live on with a decent home, probably like a garden, areas for like a shed and tools, and maybe like sections with like dirt and rocks and stuff, and other like stones and whatnot that he can use to take around the various parts of the cemetery. Now, for those just tuning in, I just want to welcome you. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making utility that is available on Steam. We offer a free demo, so you can try Dungeon Alchemist for free. And the demo is like 6.7 gigs, so very small. It's not that big in size. It allows you to build a tavern in a forest setting. Now, that being said, Dungeon Alchemist is very expansive, offers quite a few different options as far as biomes. Forest is just one of the many. So, Badlands, caves, desert, Fey Plains, grasslands, jungle, skeletal plains, snow. The point of Dungeon Alchemist is to make maps that would be for your tabletop gaming campaigns, ideally for a fantasy setting, for somewhere like D&D or Pathfinder. No, though many in our community make maps for other settings and aesthetics. I've seen Fallout, sci-fi, cyberpunk, modern, Victorian, all sorts of different settings, Western. So it can manage those if needs be. Anyway, moving on from that, if anyone has any questions related to Dungeon Alchemist throughout the stream, remember the stream is AMA format, which means ask me anything. So if you have any questions related to Dungeon Alchemist, let me know, and I will do my best to address them. Otherwise, I will be continually building and kind of chatting with everyone the best I can. Feeling a little congested today, so it's a little hard to talk, and I might have to step away and blow my nose a couple of times. Hey, Mateus. So, Clawens, we typically focus on community assets and maps on the various basically there's a stream dedicated to it every other Saturday called the Dam stream. We just had one this most recent Saturday. We focus on showcasing maps and assets from the workshop. Though this map does feature some community assets, and I'm glad to highlight them, like these different mausoleums here. But the Dam stream is essentially a focus on community assets and maps. The opposite Saturday, the Dam challenge, is a focus on community maps that are submitted as part of a map making contest, which anyone in our community can contribute to, by the way. If you want to participate, you're more than welcome to. You make a map of any shape or size, and you submit it to our Dam Challenge channel. There's some rules pinned at the top that you must follow, and the current theme for the challenge is camp. So you use camp as inspiration, you make a map, submit it to our Discord Dam Challenge channel, and as long as you followed the rules pinned in the channel, you are entered to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card. And if your map is the winning map, it's the first map featured on the Dam Challenge stream. Plus, we showcase all the other entries during that stream. So it's kind of a fun little way to challenge yourself and try to make new and different styles of maps that you may not have considered. Additionally, it's a good way to kind of get your work out there. Maybe you make maps for commission or Patreon or something. It's a good way to kind of advertise your brand. Oh, I got you, Claw. I got you. Oh, I misunderstood what you said there. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Silk, I will address your question momentarily, okay? I just want to apologize to Klons and kind of address that. So, what they were kind of speaking of is not the fact that we were showcasing maps and assets from the community, but that there is this amazing feature built into Dungeon Alchemist called the Steam Workshop. Anyone who owns a copy of Dungeon Alchemist can access this. If you click that, under this section, this top menu tab, there is a section to browse maps and assets. Hey Rev, welcome back. Currently, there's over 10,600 maps, almost 10,700, really close now. Various style maps, different aesthetics, different themes. Right now, I'm just looking at the most popular ones, right? You can also sort by most recent. So you can see like the new maps being dropped on the workshop up to the minute. You can additionally search maps. So let's say you're looking for something like Lost Mines of Phandelver. And when you search, say, certain categories or phrases, you're likely to find certain maps. So LMOP finds tons of Lost Mines of Phandelver maps that community members have made and shared. So, Silk, to make a kind of a basement in a building, there's several ways to approach it. Okay? The most easiest, I'm just gonna draw a building and then we'll make a little basement in it just to show you. This is not gonna be anything special. In fact, actually, I probably should have done it without any objects in it. I can quickly delete all the objects in this room. Boop, by hitting this delete object. Oh wait, I hit delete room. No. Okay. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hit this. All right, it's a little early for me. Okay. We've got this room here. Let's say you wanted a fighting pit in the center. You can either add a pit style room, which they have all sorts of pits, right? In Dungeon Alchemist. So if we wanted to here, let's trying to go for a 4x4 here in the center. There we go. That way I can make it circular. Wonder if this will work. There is a pit, but it's down below. Nope, that did not work. Okay, never mind. I don't want to make it circular. I'm going to make it square. But if you look here, there is a pit in the center. We can even delete these walls. It generates them by default. You can turn it off, but there is a little fighting pit in the center. It could be a prisoner pit, whatever you want it to be. This is the most simple way of doing this. Alternatively, you can delete sections of a room. So if you're using the room tool, right, you can grab these sections of a room, delete it, and then once that section's deleted, you now have the option to remove these walls, and there's ground here, which you can then use the terrain tools to lower the ground, making a more natural pit. And with practice, you can even get different shapes and stuff. So personally, I think using the pit style rooms or floors is the way to go. There's pit floors here that also work like similarly. Funny enough, we have a pit around the pit. So you could do pit floors, pit rooms, or you can use terrain. Either one of three options to accomplish what you're looking to do, Silk. So, yeah, the pit floors, great option. You're just looking for like a simple, quick option, you know? Don't have to delete anything, don't have to add anything, you just draw floors that are pits. So that's probably the best way to go about it. I hope that makes sense for you, Silk. And is Steam working for you, Atlam? I've been refreshing it constantly. Oh, there's plenty of pit options, both under floors. There's like a money pit, a mine shafts that are like dirt or stone that could work for a fighting pit. Also, there's like stone pits or deep pits, water pits, etc. And then you have room types that are pits. But yeah, lava pit is one of them for sure. I mean, the pit room type is great for that purpose, to just give yourself like a deep kind of hole in the middle of a room. No worries. No worries. Glad to help. Okay. Let's get back to this house. True, Chim. Whenever I talk about someone's assets, I definitely try to shout them out and give them, props. So, last stream we went around and put some windows on this, kind of set up the floor plan and the basics. I remember we were decorating the kitchen when we left off, which I feel like, you got to have like a nice little stocked kitchen and pantry. This is going to be a pantry. So there's going to be some food out here, but a lot of it in the pantry. So in this space, I'm thinking either like shelves on the wall and maybe some shelves in the middle. So it's just like lots of walk around space around the shelves, but also, food all over the shelves. Lots of options there. Fozzie, you can add like hex grid, but I will tell you, Dungeon Alchemist really doesn't excel in making a world map or like an overworld map at this time. Mainly because it's focused on like localized or battle maps. Though it is possible to do like regional and world maps, but you have to use like trickery. Essentially, you have to rescale objects and do like forced perspective. At the end of the day, I will be very honest and admit it's not really our strongest aspect of map building. But you can enable a hex grid, and the hex grid has plenty of options related to it. You can change the size of the grid, so you can make the hexes bigger, and then if you do have like a world map, these hexes are more reflective of that. Hmm. Oh, no worries. No, it's not a problem at all. And I'm not like, I hope that didn't seem like a put down or anything. It is possible. It's definitely possible. Let me show you something here really quick. In our workshop, there are community members who have shared like regional maps and world maps. You usually just kind of have to look carefully for them, but they're usually very massive. And they require a lot of processing power to run. So there's this one that's like, what is it? There's an overworld map, I believe, for Legend of Zelda. Like this one here. And this thing is massive, 256 by 88 tiles. Shopka, thank you for the follow. This isn't my app personally. I didn't develop it, but I'm the community manager for the product. It's called Dungeon Alchemist. It's a map making tool available on Steam, and I, host streams and provide support and answer questions and post across our various social platforms, etc. So this map here, as we were talking, overworld size, it's quite large. This is a Legend of Zelda map. I'm going to show you really quickly. Waiting for it to load. It's going to take a minute. It's a big boy map. My security camera just went off, and it was the garbage company. Cute. Here we go, really quickly, for Fozzie to show him an overworld map. So I'm actually really happy that TikTok is working today. I was worried that our TikTok viewers wouldn't be able to view the stream. Check this out. This thing is huge. This is an overworld map of Legend of Zelda. So if you put this into perspective, it's quite intricate. I don't know if any of you played Legend of Zelda. But the fact that they were able to make the whole overworld map for it in Dungeon Alchemist is an impressive feat. It's insane cool. And there's several examples of regional or world maps available on the workshop that are even more detailed than this, maybe not as large, but are using things like forced perspective, i.e. scaling objects down really small, so they look like, you know, very distant small city or big cities, but, you know, in a regional map. Anyway, let's get back to the cemetery. I did, Atlam. Thank you for keeping an eye on it, though. Hey, Space Monkey, what you up to? Okay. Get back to decorating this space here. Disable the old collisions. Hey, Happy New Year's to you, too. So we've got some pantries, you know, storage here. I'm thinking of putting like a waist high kind of counter there with storage. What can we put? What can we put there? Go look at all the various furniture. Oh. Ooh, I wonder if any of these will fit. Too big. What we gonna do? Sink it into the ground and no one will know that it's that tall. Clones, right now, the only information I can give you is Q2 of this year. It's likely very early Q2 is what it's looking like. Wish I had more details and specifics. I can show you teasers, but I don't have anything other than... I like those shelves. Those look... I'm thinking maybe something right there, like a little table. Even put like a little display case. It's too big. Mm-hmm. Oh, the cheese back. I think this looks pretty good though. Here's the thing. I like to think that, like, you know, this is a massive cemetery he cares for, so he probably has a really reasonable, like, property. And, gotcha, Claw. That makes sense. That makes sense. I understand what you're looking for. You know, it is possible to address it now, but it is a little bit more difficult by hand. That being said, though, I definitely would understand why you want to wait until it's like more streamlined. Beat you, Atlam. Ooh, one honey pot. I mean, I don't have to type it, so it does help. A little kettle. Hmm. Trying to think of what other things to add in here. It is massive. So I'm gonna want a table to eat at, right? Because we got like pantry and a kitchen A there. I'm thinking like, oh, where to eat. Fair enough, Claw. Might delete this chair and put like a table over here. Or and move the chair. Man, I have hiccups. Which modules are you using, Claw? Levels. Nice. That worked pretty well for you. I know that there is one offered by Ripper. It's like 3D canvas or whatever. But it's kind of its own encapsulated unit. Like our maps don't work with it or anything like that. What kind of stuff can we put on these shelves? I need all sorts of food options. Let's go look at the food and drink starters. Guess we could put like a random bucket of meat. Bucket o meat. Those make me laugh. Honestly, 2D is like where it's at right now when it comes to this stuff, because it's more optimized, if that makes sense. Like, don't get me wrong, 3D is going to be the future of virtual tabletops, but it's going to be a while before it's like optimized in the main thing. Does that make sense? I mean, I often are wondering why people will ask us when our maps will work with Ripper's, module. And then I realize it's because the module itself is kind of complicated and people, aren't necessarily having the best time trying to use it. So I get why they want to use Dungeon Alchemist to make their maps, as it streamlines the process. Guess we could put like some dishes and stuff in these too, because he needs like places for things, Ooh, and some wine and tea. Put some tea over here. Bottle in this corner. Yeah. Down. Hey Shlomo, how you doing? Caretaker's place is coming along, actually. I think we're making some progress. We're working on the pantry right now. Kind of kitchen, pantry area. Day off, but you're doing work for a couple of hours? What? You'd be enjoying your day off, my friend. Hey, Stormy, welcome back. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you doing today? Gosh, that's jumping all over those shelves. That's frustrating. Nice, Dayhawk. I mean, honestly, a lot of DMs use Dungeon Alchemist differently. Some use Dungeon Alchemist in, like, the most obvious ways, where you make a map and export it in top-down for print or your virtual tabletop. Others will make, like, landing pages. I don't know if you're familiar with landing pages, but they're pretty cool. I'll show you some. Other DMs will use Dungeon Alchemist as an immersion utility, or kind of a way to better immerse their players in the environment than just a map. I've played on tables where the DM will stream a first-person view and follow along whatever the players are doing. So like they'll place a token in the map and they'll kind of just follow the players from room to room in first person and stream that to them over Discord or Skype or Zoom or whatever your preferred platform is for this. I don't know why it's taken forever. I clicked the eyeball here, but that's why. Such a big map, it's taken a minute to register the first person mode. But while we're waiting for that, and by the way, if that ever comes up, just click wait. Usually waiting's better. Kitchen's looking good. Getting some good height here. That stove is looking massive though in comparison when I look at it. So in first person, they'll stream this view, and we as players can be like, hey, can you take a closer look at what's over on the, in the kitchen? And they'll be like, oh yeah, so one DM said whatever you see in first person is what your player sees, and they can potentially interact with it or loot it. And that was interesting for, several reasons. One, we had a player on our table who was much more of a visual learner than, say, someone who can draw their own conclusions and have a really sharp mind's eye. Or everybody learns differently. Some people learn through words, and some people learn through visual feedback. Some people learn because they can actually maintain the image in their brain of what you're talking about. So in that instance, it's always good to give your players more options. And the thing about it is we play these games of, tabletop games where you have all these powers. Your players can fly and can shoot lightning from their fingertips and make rooms burst into flame. But we never really let them see through their character's own eyes. It's crazy how much power they have and ability, but we don't give them the most basic senses, which is seeing through their own two eyes. So I think allowing players to interact with the environment in this way is a very powerful tool, an immersion tool for DMs that you can choose to use however you see fit. But in this instance, I think it's great for the younger audience, getting those newer players that are getting into D&D for the first time, maybe kids. I have a son. I wanted him to be into D&D, and it was hard because video games and modern day entertainment is so fast paced and constantly streaming stuff towards you. And I think once we interacted with maps like this, it changed the game for him. He loves D&D because he can interact with the world in a more real-time, first-person, style. Yeah, Fantasia, Hyper Fantasia, they are real and they happen, and it's people visualize and see things and experience things differently. So take that into account as a DM. You really want to offer your players the best possible experience across the board, the best production, right? And if some of your players have a hard time visualizing what you're sharing with them, it makes it kind of difficult, right? Hey, Shopka, Oliver Shopka, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Much appreciated. I believe you're watching us over on TikTok and then moved over, so thank you. And then Humberto Bordolasi, thank you for the like on Facebook. Much appreciated. So kind of back to what I was saying here. I think, giving your players more ways to interact with their environment and experience their environment is wise as a DM. And I don't just say that as the community manager of a map making tool. I say that as a DM and a player. It's wise to give them more opportunities to interact with the environment, whether it's just the top down or a clip of you walking through it in first person, or maybe you're streaming a cinematic drone camera for them to look at, or the first person camera. You don't have to go all out and stream it to them, but having a companion video or a walkthrough is a great handout or screenshots of the interior in like 3D are a great way to better immerse your players. Now, earlier I mentioned landing pages, and I'm going to kind of dive back into that momentarily here. Sorry to circle back in such a bold fashion. Oof. A landing page is a great way to immerse your players in their campaign and give them a loading screen, if you will. You know, many of you have played video games, or I'm sure you've watched DVDs where they have the like screen where you can select the play button in the menu, and it's like you can navigate and see like the special features, but it's like an overlay of the whole movie and gives you kind of a feel of it, right? That's what a landing page is in you know, in a business sense. But in a campaign sense, making a landing page allows you, right, to give your players a essentially like a launch map that is the first scene they see. It could be a journal entry, or it could be the loading page for your campaign. And essentially when your players are loading in, that's the first thing they see and are kind of immersed with it. And it's like a refresher of everything going on in the campaign. So in this instance here, we've got this lovely like table set up with player characters, images, relevant world maps, city maps, etc., right? Damn, Bearsoft, that would really break my heart as a DM and a player. Like, I first off want to make sure that my group, you know, when we go to play, is ready to play and engaged and ready to go. I've been doing this thing with the group I've been playing with lately is we try to meet up about a half hour, you know, 15 minutes before, kind of get our wiggles out, chit chat, and then dive into it. Um, and it really does help. But, you know, like, I know it's really hard sometimes. People get distracted or immersed in their phones or other aspects of their life and things going on. Don't take it personal, Bearsoft, but at the same time, you may want to look for players who are more interested in what you're offering. You know, I'm not trying to tell you to torpedo your campaign, but there is definitely players out there who would probably be more grateful to what you're doing and the amount of time and effort you're putting into it. Hey, Eric, how you doing, buddy? I mean, every once in a while we glance at our phone. As the community manager for a company who is pretty much like a worldwide based company, I'll check my phone during a game like once or twice just to make sure there's no major issues or problems or support issues. But it's not like I'm going to get super involved with it and turn up the volume and watch TikToks when my mic is on or something like that. You know what I mean? I think there's levels of decorum and respect to offer the fellow players who are there and the DM who's put their time and effort into it. You know, in this day and age where we're so digital and tied into our like digital world and phones, you know, like, hey, you get a message, you look at your phone. But if you're playing in person, that's probably a big red flag. If you're online, I think part of the reason you play online is to have a level of detachment, or maybe you need to play online because all of your friends are located in different states. But I do think if people are like watching TikToks at full volume, ignoring what's going on, ignoring the DM, ignoring other players, they probably shouldn't be on the table. They probably are. They don't seem interested in it, right? And if they need that much distraction to keep them busy, they probably should look into alternatives of like, you know, maybe getting some professional help. And oh my gosh. Yeah. So, Bear, the thing is right, you got to find that balance, but maybe set a rule when they're gaming. I mean, a teen table, it's going to be struggle bus to kind of keep their attention. And I don't say that against, you know, any teens watching. I just say from experience, with my own child that sometimes it is hard to keep him focused on things. And as he's gotten older and more mature, it's gotten better. I was the same way when I was a kid. Hey, Smokey, how you doing? So with that same thought in mind, I mean, maybe set a rule during gameplay that phones go into a bag of holding during, gameplay, that they can come out after. The only exception would be like an emergency, like a medical emergency, or maybe they're expecting a call from like a doctor or work or something, right? Not only that, D&D is a great tool for teaching math. It's a great tool for teaching youth to better like critical thinking, and also help them like do things like role play that are a big part of like everyday like normal stuff. Like when I was at work doing sales, we would do role play all the time to like simulate doing sales and do better at them. And I think if you give kids the opportunity to do these things in a safe setting where it's not critical and it'll trigger their anxiety, they're having fun, it helps them learn these skills for later. You know what I mean? Yes, creativity, social skills. I have definitely seen, my son like has a lot more interest in the world and like reading and things in general since he started playing D&D. It's a game of imagination. So I gotta say, looking at a landing page, it's a great immersive tool for your players. You set it as the launch screen for your campaign on a virtual tabletop, or set it on your TV tabletop as the main screen before you load into things. It really sets the mood. You could set different maps and themes and items that really kind of are based on their experiences and tie into the campaign. Okay, Ninja, I missed this. I placed clues about the campaign in the landing page I used, which again was only altered slightly from one that was added. That is awesome. Seisu, one of our mods, he hasn't been around lately because he's like neck deep in studies for school, college. But he made a landing page and he actually added interactive like spots where you could click on things in the landing page. Hey Ortega, how you doing? Through his virtual tabletop using like a journal tool or something and Monk's active tiles. And he said there is like hidden Easter eggs and even magic items the players could unlock by clicking on it if they had explored and clicked on it, but none of them ever found it. So he had magic items hiding in the page if they just clicked on something and they just didn't explore it enough. Oh my gosh, it made my heart break. I was so sad. But it's such a cool idea. And when community members started making these landing pages, I was so shocked because I never thought this would be a use for Dungeon Alchemist. But our community tends to come up with the most creative misuses for Dungeon Alchemist. It's awesome. Oh, right, these little tent anchors, right? They're like yeah, like basically like a climbing pin or something like that, right? So when I was growing up, there was this the internet was kind of young, right? It was new. And this website still exists, by the way, but it was very new and fun at the time before YouTube or anything like that. And I know I sound like a boomer old man right now, but hear me out. There's this thing called Homestar Runner. Okay, it's a website, homestarrunner.com, and it was like YouTube and like all funny things, TikTok before there was that. Just this one website full of skits and funny stuff, but there is a character on this website called Strong Bad, who is essentially like a Mexican wrestler composite who trash talks people through emails on the like early internet. And people would write into him, and then this guy would make a cartoon of Strong Bad responding, and you would watch the cartoons. But hidden throughout the Strong Bad cartoons, it was a Flash cartoon on the website. Flash is like dead now, but it was a thing back then. You could click on different parts of the cartoon, and it would trigger Easter eggs or different animations or different things to come up. So, I guess what I'm saying is that like I love Easter eggs. I love that level of interactivity, and when DMs go the extra mile for their players, it always warms my heart when that happens and when I hear about it. But then at the same time, it makes me sad when players don't like clearly see the hanging lantern there for them that like is these clues. Bear, you started D&D, Carter was still in office. Oh my gosh. Strong Bad. So a lot of you know Strong Bad and Strong Sad. I'm sad because I'm flying. So Legion, this is just a niche use case for Dungeon Alchemist, making landing pages, right? This is something that a more advanced user would probably approach, but as a base use, you know, Dungeon Alchemist is an amazing map maker and immersion tool. I think the first time I played D&D was in the like early 90s. No, early 90s, definitely. I was too young in the late 80s. Y'all are making me laugh. You know, I'm as far as 1D&D is concerned, Legion, I'm not 100% certain as to how our maps and their system will work, like, you know, interconnected. As long as they offer a universal import system like most virtual tabletops, where you can import, say, images, JPEGs, or import, videos, MP4s, WebM, etc., then most likely it'll be compatible. From what I've heard, though, community members of ours have already started kind of testing with it and importing their maps and haven't had much trouble. So, yeah, I am referring to maps on D&D Beyond. Yes. I haven't experimented with it much. So Shlomo, if you know anything, please let me know. Man, we got a lot of like Gen X in here at the moment. To be honest with you, I didn't realize like we had so many like a little bit, Shlomo, a little bit. I've seen some video of it. Isn't it like essentially like Baldur's Gate as a VTT? I am a bit of a whippersnapper. I'm only, 39 years old. I remember my first map was like a sheet of like grid paper that my friend hand drew the map on, and then our tokens were like pennies and army men. Okay, let's finish decorating this entry. Probably not really, Rev. I don't know, to be honest with you. I do know that like our devs have said that at some point they want to implement some like VTT light features in Dungeon Alchemist. And I feel like recently they've kind of started talking internally about what that might entail. Um so I'm excited to see what the future of Dungeon Alchemist is like. For now, at least that's all I can say. Eric, that's so funny that your father-in-law calls your wife strong sad. So I'm assuming they're just like a Homestar family then, right? I mean, it makes sense, right? Whoa, got some lag. Plates down there. Teacups. You know, who knows how it'll go, to be honest with you. I'm very excited for the future of Dungeon Alchemist, but because D&D was teaching you math on the side, Michelle. Oh, interesting, Ricky. That's cool. I'm up there with you, but a bit younger to the game. D&D, Pathfinder only started in 2014. Hey, we all got to start sometime, you know? It is, honestly, like, I didn't even play D&D 5e until about 4 years ago. I hadn't played D&D in many, many moons until, like, just, like, about a year and a half before I started working with Dungeon Alchemist. I started getting back into D&D again. Okay, so no, I'm reading chat in another feed right now. It's TikTok. Someone was saying that slow mo. So I actually have been playing RPGs pretty much most of my life. Whether it was like a PC game or, you know, like I said, I played D&D in the early '90s. Um, when I was like 5, 6 years old over at my friend's house. I also played games like King's Quest and you know, Baldur's Gate. Growing up, a lot of those I still have all my original Baldur's Gate like boxes with the games inside. Um, that being said, I have played many different RPGs, MMORPGs, tabletop RPGs, board game RPGs, uh, you know, console, PC, etc. over the years. But I only got back into D&D in the last, you know, like 4 or 5 years. Warrel, thank you for the follow. Sorry I didn't notice that earlier. Man, I'm having a hard time staying focused today. Don't know what it is. Maybe just love talking to the community. So distracted. Like a little kettle or something in here, just kind of store it on the shelf. Trying to find like random things to stock into his shelves. Got a little meat grinder there. Oh no, Cronclore. I mean, if anything, it's really just like a fantasy pantry, so it's not like the most appealing food. But I get it. I get it. By the way, for those wondering who I'm talking to when I'm not like you don't see a name in chat on your feed, we're multi-streaming right now. We're live on 6 different platforms, I think, right now. So Twitch is our main feed, our main stream. We are also live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Surprisingly, I didn't think we'd be live on TikTok today, but we are. And also Steam. So right now, live on all these platforms for everyone to watch, interact, enjoy. But on occasion, as I'm reading chat from different feeds, I could be saying something from a different area and you're confused because you don't read it. And you're like, who is he talking to? Is Mac losing his mind? Old gold box games. I'm not familiar with those. What is that? Can you explain more of that, Shadowcast? Please elaborate on what. I'm playing the gold box Curse of Azure Bonds as I'm watching your stream right now. Has anyone made maps for the old gold box games? I'm not familiar with this franchise. Please educate me. I would love to learn more if you're open to telling me. Can I just say his pantry looks so nice right now. I'm really vibing with it. HBC, honestly, I love learning. It is something that as a young child, I loved reading and absorbing knowledge. And as I've grown, it's not something that I've put my nose up to. Like, I love when I can learn more information, especially about tabletop games or, the world, other cultures. I love learning about food. It's always awesome. So thank you for that. I appreciate the kind words and the follow and the like. But yeah, Shadowcast. I am not familiar with this franchise you're speaking of, so please, I'd love to hear more about it. So it's called Curse of Azure Bonds. Old gold box games. What is that? Okay, I'm gonna look this up. We're gonna look this up. Curse of Azure Bonds. My computer knows me too well. It was like Curse of Oak Island. Oh, gold box means old school Dungeons and Dragons, where it had the gold box seal. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay, I am so sorry. Forgive my absolute ignorance here. First off, I found this game on Steam, and it looks dope. Thank you, Shadowcast. I appreciate that. I am loving this. I'm looking at this image right now, and this looks so cool. Here, let me share it with everyone. I love this style of, like, art in games. This dark fantasy pixel art. Hey, Aunt, how you doing? Cronclor, the pantry is for a caretaker for a massive cemetery I'm building. So the caretaker lives on site of this massive cemetery, takes care of all the, the plots and the plants and the roads and whatnot. So I'm making him a nice little fancy place to live. Your only hope is to search the Forgotten Realms for members of the Alliance who created the bonds and regain control of your own destiny. So is like Thaco scores a thing in this? This is so cool. Nice, Aunt. I hope you make it in time. This is so cool. Love it. Honestly, if there are maps of these, I wouldn't even know what they would be called if anyone's made them or not. I do know a lot of our players have made some old AD&D maps, some of the older editions. If anyone has taken to remaking the maps from those games, I'm not 100%. But what I would recommend for you to do, Shadowcast, is in Dungeon Alchemist, you click Steam Workshop right here in the top, click Browse Maps, right? And then from here, you can start searching the popular locations in that game and see if they come up. They may already have been made. A lot of our community is older, gamers that have been doing tabletop gaming since, the 70s, 80s, and earlier even. And so there are people recreating older maps, constantly in our community. And that's honestly inspiring. I love it. I love seeing all these old school maps that really made the hobby what it is today. I am forever grateful that the community of gamers, tabletop gamers, stuck with it through the years when it was seen as a less favorable hobby, or like even when Satanic Panic was going on and stuff like that. So HBC, that's a good question. This is the standard version of Dungeon Alchemist. It is just the lifetime license, one-time purchase on Steam. There, let me pull it up for you really quick. So if you purchase just a standard license of Dungeon Alchemist like this here, this is the exact same version I'm using. With one exception, I do have all the Kickstarter assets as a dev, as a member of the dev team. So basically, I have every one of the Kickstarter assets that were available because I'm part of the dev team. By the way, my name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist HBC. So if you have any questions related to DA, Dungeon Alchemist, DA for short, these streams are AMA format, so feel free to ask away. Ask anything related to Dungeon Alchemist, what I'm building, what our development future is, whatever. If you need immediate support, I'll drop whatever I'm doing and help you. So you're currently using DA to make a remake of Elder Scrolls Oblivion Gate Map using the overlay system. Wow, that's cool. That's cool, Cronclor. When that's done, I want to see it. You better share that on the workshop. Shadowcast, I wish I could be more helpful. Can you name some maps? We could try looking them up and see. Name some areas in those games, and I'll try looking them up. Those games look freaking cool, though. I'm very interested in looking at them after stream. I'm going to look at them after stream and see if maybe I might buy one, because I love those old school, like, pixel games. Mazes and monsters. But the workshop has over 10,500 maps. I mean, it's very likely the maps you're looking for might exist in some shape or form there. Oh, a lot of okay, there was a community member, who was it, that was making pretty much every single like old school, like AD&D module map. So back to building, as we should be focusing on building during the stream, and I'm sorry I keep getting sidetracked, but I love answering y'all's questions and making sure everyone is getting their concerns addressed, you know, without any issues. Need to fill this cabinet up. What should I put on it? Just more drinks, right? So I can put one of these. I guess I could just fill it up with like various wine bottles, right? So this is Sewers of Flan. Battle map from the Tyranny of Dragons adventure, The Scroll Thief. Livery and Stable in Flan. Stojanau Gate in Flan. So there's a few made, but not the whole city. Darn. Was hoping. Yeah, that is a great assumption, Cronkler. Like, the caretaker probably gets gifts from maybe the clergy or probably the various people whose, you know, families' graves are here. So they likely are given, you know, offerings and gifts and paid well to maintain the space. I'd imagine they probably have reasonable resources. Honestly, it looks really cool, Shadowcast. I grew up on games like that, and I'm surprised I never played that, but it reminds me of like King's Quest just looking at it. So it's very cool. Love it. So you're basing your campaign off of that? That's really cool. This is true, Michelle. Here, let's pull up City of Flan and see if we can find a trace for it. Several layouts here. I'm looking for an image of it that's reasonable. Something like this, right? Now it's a reasonable size city. I mean, you're probably looking at like 100 by 100 map in DA, which is quite insane, like for the average computer. Though it is possible to do. The demo is limited to only really making a tavern in a small forest setting, so it may not be able to make like a whole city. Just putting that out there. But this is definitely possible with Dungeon Alchemist, but it would take a little bit of time. It's a big city, it looks like. Oh man, right, Fozzie? I remember having different discs for different sections of games, and it was always terrifying when you had to put in a new disc. I think this overlay of Flan is like probably the easiest one to remake, right? Because it's like a simple structure. But you could take an image, say, of one of these, say this one, right? And you save the image. I'm gonna let you do a little bit of the footwork to find a decent map of Flan. I'm just gonna find a simple one, right? And what you can do with that in Dungeon Alchemist is we have this tool here called the tracing tool or the overlay tool. Give it a moment here to catch up with my end. And in the overlay tool, you can actually add like labels. So we could label this as the caretaker property, right? You can also put like map elements like a compass or something like that. But another thing is you can put an image on as an overlay to trace or to use as a tracing layer. Why can't I find that image? Where is it? Oh. Okay. I'm so confused. Maybe I didn't save it? Oh, okay. Because I saved it as a WebP file, I don't think it recognizes it. Hopefully I can just get a JPEG of it really quick. Oh, the image won't load. This image is icky. 1 second. You can import images as long as they're a JPEG or a PNG and use it as a trace. Oh, I accidentally opened up there. Let me just show you an example of a map that I know I can overlay. We'll just do like a donjon. So I've downloaded a bunch of donjon maps in the past, and you can actually match them square for square with DA. So if we made this map the same size as this donjon map, it would match perfectly, or you could even double the size of the DA map to thicken up the hallways or whatever. Basically giving you with the ability to start drawing buildings over this trace option. So you can see it as kind of a reference as you're starting to build out your map. If that makes sense. It's a good question, Claw. I brought it up recently with the devs, and I don't know if it's something on their immediate periphery, like immediate roadmap, but it is something eventually they will take notice of. Okay, back to building. I want a rug right here. Did not sleep well last night, I'm gonna be honest. WebP is a file format, an image file format. You know how there's JPEG and PNG. WebP is essentially a more streamlined version of PNG that doesn't take as much space, but allows transparent backgrounds. It's the main image format used on the internet right now, but a lot of, different programs aren't necessarily compatible with it right out the gate. You've been looking for a program to make maps, Night Fox? Well, you've come to the right stream. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making utility available on Steam. It allows you to build maps for your tabletop setting campaigns, primarily D&D or Pathfinder. We offer a free demo on Steam, so you can try before you buy, see how it runs on your computer. And also, when you purchase Dungeon Alchemist, it's a lifetime license. So it's a one-time fee or a lifetime license. No monthly fees, none of that stuff. Got an entryway here. What other stuff? I'm thinking like a little, I don't know, cabinet or something. Display case. Something right when you walk in. I also need some other things in here. Trophies. Give him some antlers, maybe. Nope. Let's do two of them. You know, some places demos aren't free. I know it sounds like really silly to say, but no, some demos cost. You know what I mean? Need some plants. It's a good idea. I was going to put like garden and stuff outside. It's also going to make this like firewood space, I think. Just like tons of firewood. So we've got bedroom, bathroom. Another GM showed you some of it the other day. Nice. Was it a streamer on Twitch or was it like a friend of yours? I need to have like a path from here to here. Oh, it was Eric? Nice. Eric's a good guy. He's also GMing a campaign I'm playing in, so. Small world. You watched Bear create and then ended up getting your own? Nice. Hey, Night Fox, by the way, thank you for the follow, and Quarrel, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. In the last like 30, 40 minutes. Appreciate that. Honestly, I think Eric knows what he's doing when it comes to running a campaign, and I don't think anything I could say or do would change his mind, really. He's a pretty reasonable dude, though. I'm really enjoying his table so far. I am Clover Brightleaf. I've made the most annoying character possible. But wait, let me explain. So, my character is a halfling, okay? Mark of Hospitality halfling. So, starting out the gate, I've got halfling luck, right? And I took a background that gave me the lucky feat out the gate. So, I've got lucky and halfling luck. And then I basically started my character as an artificer for 1 level and then took 2 levels as a dip as a divination wizard. So my saves are con and int, and I have like a bunch of proficiencies with armor and shields, other things, weapons, and an expanded spell list and, you know, cantrip list. But I've also got a subclass as a wizard, the divination subclass, so that gives me 2 portent rolls per day. As artificer, I took guidance as a cantrip, so that gives me even more benefit to my rolls and like getting the win. And on top of all this, I have, you know, shield as a spell and silvery barbs as a spell, and my character is just based on trying to manipulate luck as much as possible. Not liking these candles. Maybe outside, I don't know. I'm gonna come up with a light. Need a good light. So my character's got all sorts of luck coming out the nose, if you will. Just able to. Oh, you have, huh? How did you see my luck in action? I'm confused on that because we weren't like live streaming, as far as I'm aware. Hmm. Ooh, a painting. Let's put a painting in the house somewhere. Ah, gotcha. But at the moment, it's pretty fun so far. I've been, keeping my teammates alive and manipulating things into our favor, and haven't really had a chance to let my luck shine outside of combat yet, like in social situations or RP, mainly because we're breaking out of a prison and we've been essentially just pushing our way out of this from the cell block into the main yard into the front of the prison where we're trying to get out, I'm hoping. I saw that, Michelle. Thank you. Appreciate that. I just keep coming back to the pantry. I feel like I'm fixated on it, but I like the pantry and I want it to be cool. Was it? I saw the one of it going up and down or something like that. That looked pretty cool. Well, I'm glad you took on the challenge and have been figuring it out. Shrink this down. Jeremy, the theme for the next Dam Challenge is camp, i.e., I mean, camp could be whatever you want it to be. It could be glamping if you want it to be. It's really just a theme that you use as inspiration to challenge yourself to make a map using that. Ultimately, I'm not working on that at the moment. My particular map is actually a massive cemetery that I'm building. But the Dam Challenge, our ongoing map making contest, yeah, camp is the theme, the aesthetic that should be applied to the challenge if you're considering entering. And I'll be honest with you, camp is wide open. It could be all sorts of things. It could be, like a big encampment of like soldiers, like a moving army or something like that. It could be a small little group of, travelers, like a party. It could be a traveling, salesman. It could be, yeah, glamping is a great idea. So anyone interested, if you want to participate in our ongoing map making contest, the Dam Challenge, the current theme is camp. Holy smokes, I just found what might be the very best random item CPSPGP list for D&D I've ever seen. The gemstone section even has images. That's cool, USMC. I'm interested. Okay, what other aspects of this room should I put in here? I want to put more in the entryway. Obviously some lighting, but I'm also thinking like a display case here. Ooh. Yeah, I thought that was a good one. Because he's going to have like gardens and stuff, and he's going to be managing all this area, so these are his prized mandrakes. As long as something's getting done. These look nice. I can design your house. Okay, we need something over here. What should I do on this side? Maybe a shelf or like a... Could put like one of these apothecary type things here. Coat rack is a good idea. You know, I could put this over here somewhere. I've got lots of room that I need to fill out. So we'll just kind of toss this over here for now. And I'll get at it later. Like a book or something. Like a ledger, right? I think we actually have a ledger book. This ledger book. Put this over here for now, but we'll set up like a desk or something in a minute. I do like that. Actually could be a good idea for a little study over here. Like a desk with like stuff on it. Let's look up desk. Put the ledger. That's cool. USMC. Hopefully it works out. Why am I so tired today? I feel like I just didn't sleep at all. I think I might even get rid of some of this fence here. We'll just like move it over here. That and that's scuffed for back. Base. Hey, hey. Like it. Boom! Goes the dynamite. That looks a lot better. And then this shed is kind of like in a sunken in vest space. Oh, come on, man. Get over there. You like shedding it up. Hey, Polaris, how you doing? So this is a shed that I just placed. I'm gonna fill with like tools and stuff because this is the caretaker's property. But there are some prefabricated structures that are like made that have like that are pre-built and have like a roof on them. Like this tree house, you can pop the roof off and put stuff inside. It's very different from our traditional generate homes building structure. But stables can be placed and built definitely, for sure, using this or by hand. Probably gonna make it all stone over here. I'm not done quite yet, Bear. Do something like this. It's giving you anxiety. Yeah. But technically, this structure is an object, so it really isn't a building per se. It's classified as an object. It's under the object menu. There's quite a few objects, tents, things that act as structures. This igloo, there's an outhouse, swamp hut, Baba Yaga's wandering hut. There's quite a few different ones that are just prefab structures. Sorchin, I love to hear that, actually. Love to hear it. That warms my heart. Our devs love that, you know, Dungeon Alchemist has really kind of catalyzed a new generation of tabletop gaming. and they're always interested to hear and see ways where the youth of the world are interested in Dungeon Alchemist map making, DMing. So love to hear it. Love to hear it. Love to see it. They just, I mean, like, we all have like families, kids of our own, and so it's important for us to know that people out there are, getting that benefit out of Dungeon Alchemist, where it helps you, have more time with your family, your siblings, your cousins, whoever, that you may look after and nurture. There are outhouses for sure. I put them in my maps often. This particular one I didn't because I have a bathroom at the moment. I was gonna try and figure that out. I was thinking of just adding like a simple latrine. Does it? Nice. Hey, Swatgy, how you doing? I can't really speak to that for sure at the moment. As far as I know, we don't really have any direct collaboration with them. So I wouldn't really hold out for it. But as far as like their VTT system will be, is what I've heard is it will support not their 3D system, but their like normal VTT system will support images of all sorts, so you should be able to import our maps just due to that point, that reason. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. So, Sigil is an interesting project all around, and I'm excited to see how it goes, but for now, there's just too early to tell how that'll work. Hoping we get more information with time. Moving on, let's see here. Any chance we can get more texture options? So currently, and I'll be straight up honest with you, the reason there's limited textures in the texture menu, and it's limited to, the biome you're in, the textures are tied to that biome, is because we found that the more textures we've added with our current system starts causing DA to run really slow or problematic when you use the texture tools. So we've kind of done like a kind of a sweet spot, a Goldilocks for each biome, to give them an adequate amount of terrain and liquid options, but not supersede what might, cause the average computer to crash. That being said, the devs have stated they're not really satisfied with the current terrain paint system and are looking for ways to essentially make it better, improve it. When that will come, who knows? How it will be implemented, I don't know. But WIM has stated that they'd like to kind of gut it and redo it from the ground up. So essentially, every terrain paint would be available in every biome, so it's not so restrictive. And you can maybe mix and match biomes and stuff like that. For now, though, it's, you know, distant future type stuff. Mr. T, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Did not notice that. Blue Mage, you're going to like the next update for sure, then. In the next update, rotating on all axes will be something that'll be addressed. Sorchin, the devs have said at some point they would like to implement like VTT light features. What that would entail, I don't know. Would it be a standalone tool that's like a VTT? Would it be incorporated in Dungeon Alchemist? I don't know. Too early to tell. That would be after we leave early access and have, you know, essentially delivered on all our existing Kickstarter promises before we jump into VTT territory, though. The next update will have levels, okay? It will have object-oriented features. So you'll be able to do multi-level building and roofing as a core feature in Fun with Objects, but the name of the update is Fun with Objects, so there's going to be object-related features, i.e. improvements to the object brush, meaning you can make custom object brushes now. There's going to be new tools around making and combining and moving objects together, including things like rotating objects on any axes and variant creation. These are things that the devs are currently working on right now behind the scenes. Variant creation, if you're unaware, here, while we're talking about that, I'll pull up this clip showing custom object brushes. So essentially, you can now select any object and turn it into a brush in the next update. So this will allow you to take objects from the workshop, turn them into brushes, or objects that we don't have brushes for, and make them into brushes. Meaning you can paint objects much more rapidly. Now, while this is playing, kind of moving on from that, object-related features are going to be kind of the focus of this update. In fact, I don't even think there's going to be any new biomes, maybe no new room types. For AI generation, it's mostly going to be new objects and object-related features, and then multi-level. The next update is going to be big. Here, let me show you some clips, some teasers from it. So this is a multi-level tavern here. This is 3 floors, technically. This is a vaulted basement. And then there's a hatch going down to an even lower level. Dungeon Alchemist will be pretty much unrecognizable after the next update. There's going to be so many new features and improvements that will make it much more intuitive and support much more, function and form. Your multi-level maps of all sorts, underground, above ground, towers, fortresses, castles, all sorts of stuff will be addressable. So, I mean, each of these levels, Mr. T, will be exported as its own map. If you go to export, in the new update, we're including a batch exporting feature. So essentially, if you're building a multi-level map, like let's say you build this is a great example. We've got the exterior, which is the main floor, right? And then as you come in, it actually is a balcony going downstairs into the downstairs tavern. So technically, it's not the main floor, but from the top-down perspective, it is technically that, right? So that would be one export in top down. Unfortunately, I can't flip the view and show you this, but just work with me. Imagine we're looking at this tavern top down. You could see the outside, you could see the balcony, you could see the floor below. It will export as an image where you could see the floor below, right? Through the floor above, because there's a balcony, a mezzanine that you could see over. You'll still see this level. And then you also can export the floor below as its own map. So if your players go down below, you could actually set one as like a foreground and a background scene. So essentially this layer of like balcony would peel back as your players walk underneath it. Most VTTs support that. Now that's a simple 2-level transition, but if you have multiple levels, like above ground or below ground, that would be a new map, a separate scene. So each one of these each level exports as its own scene or map. And to support that, we've included a new, like a batch exporter. Let me show you this image to kind of give you an idea. But basically, in the batch exporter, you can go through and set all of your settings for your batch export and create multiple export formats. So you could say, I want one that has no borders with the grid at morning with snow at 72 DPI, save it. Save that export. I want the same thing with no grid, save it. Want it noon, evening, night, snow. Essentially set up all the export formats you want for the map, save them, and then batch export them one after another. So each floor will be a part of the batch export, and each possible setting you have for the batch export will be an option too. So essentially you can set it up to, I want night and morning, I want snow and no snow, I want animated and non-animated, etc. But essentially how we plan it to work with Foundry is each level will be a new scene. So it works exactly how it works right now. If you were to do multi-level, or say your players transitioned up a staircase, you would load them into a new scene, i.e. a new map, right? And that's exactly how it will continue working, because we wanted to keep it as simple and straightforward and as compatible with the most VTTs as possible. Here is some alpha footage showing underground kind of testing, showing the tree roots peeking through into the cave system below. Granted, it's very, very scuffed. You can see like cracks and see the outside area, but it's coming along. Another new cool feature that's being implemented is it's called the decal brush. And essentially, you'll be able to paint like images onto walls, any surface really. It doesn't just have to be a flat surface. It could be etched all over this like pillar, for instance. But here's another great example here of like some moss all over the books and stuff in the library. But basically, with this in mind, you'll be able to, there's a whole bunch of decals, and hoping you'll be able to import custom decals. And then you can paint them all over the map with pretty much, no impunity. Like here, they added snow in the inside of a building. And if you paid close attention to that wonky tavern that I showed you earlier, it actually has quite a few stamps in it. There is those tallies marks right there. There's like an explosion kind of scorch mark on the ground there in the back. You can kind of see when it rotates right here. Here is a paper on the ground that was added through that. You can add like trash, detritus, scrape marks. I don't know if you saw that. These like claw marks. So up to this point, there were some paintings that you could add this stuff onto, and you could show it as scraped. But now you'll be able to add decals all over the floors, walls, and objects of your maps, making them look more immersive and different. There is footsteps, dust, dirt, all sorts of different decals. There's like 40 or 50 of them available right now, and they're still growing. And I think, like I said, you'll be able to do custom ones eventually. How you doing, Dag? Better late than never, right? In this clip, you can see multi-level structures being generated. It actually is only a couple keystrokes to just add a new level. You literally just push the plus key to go up or minus key to go down, and then you can draw the new level above, and then it generates just like the room below, depending on your... Snow weather overlays everything. You want to turn off snow weather if you don't want snow on top of every object. Snow weather is really only designed to give you the effect of like a fresh blizzard, right? So in my opinion, I would just disable snow weather if you want, you know, decals to be prevalent. But what we're talking about here is when you generate a map in Dungeon Alchemist in the snow biome. I'm going to do this really quick just to teach you all something real quick before we wrap up. Go to the snow biome. When you generate in the snow biome, you have snow terrain as the biome. You can set all the different stuff, vegetation, whatever. Let's do a broadleaf forest. Hills, whatever. We'll do a freezing river. There's snow weather and there's no weather. Okay, I'm going to do snow weather first. We'll create it and generate it. Nothing on the update, Brain Bomb. We were just showing clips and teasers from the update for the last 15 minutes. Did you just drop in? But yeah, it'll be second quarter 2025, and if you'd like, I can show you some of the things that'll be available in it momentarily. Waiting for this new map to load. Sorry, I'm changing the terrain of this map, which probably was a bad idea. It's so big. Could have just generated a new one. Yep, I'm regretting that. We have never ever locked down a month or even a time frame yet for it, for the update. Yeah, if you came to that conclusion, you did so voluntarily. At this point, what we were saying prior was quarter one, but we found some issues that are slowing us down, so we've rolled it back to early quarter two. So that's at least what I've been saying on the stream. I've never really offered a month, at least at this point. No, no worries, no worries. It's very easy to get over, you know, excited and when new things are on the horizon. So I just generated this map and kind of like completely ruined everything in it. But we can go back. It's not a big deal. If you disable snow weather here in a snow map, it gets rid of that frosty level of snow on top of everything. You still have snow on the ground, but it looks like it's, you know, melted and, you know, off of the trees and everything else. This is a great way to allow you to put objects in the map in a snow environment without having the weather overpower every object. Michelle, see you later, buddy. So make sure when you're in the snow biome that if snow is bothering you, it's on top of everything. You're like, man, it's on every object. I can't get it off. I want this rug to show outside or this decal. Boom. Snow weather, disable it. That's a good question, Dag. Unfortunately, in my version, I can't dust the trees. I've tried, but it doesn't work. So it may be under development or it may not be possible. I use 5e currently that I play. 5e 2014. What do you play on, Fozzie? Yeah, let's ask everyone. What's your system that you use? I've been looking at 2024 rules and like it's interesting, don't get me wrong, but I'm just so comfortable with 2014. I only just got familiar with it all in the last year or two, and like I just am not eager to go learn a new system. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at right now. Honestly, like I have the new monster, or I mean, I have the new player's handbook and the new DMG. I'm excited for the new monster manual, but at the same time, like I want to familiarize myself and get really, really familiar with them before I jump into anything new. And at the moment, I would really just prefer to stick with what I know best. I use D&D Beyond for character creation and research, and then I love virtual tabletops. I mean, I've played on all of them for the most part. As a DM, I have used Foundry and Roll20. As a player, I have used Foundry, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Owlbear, Above VTT, etc. And they're all, you know, pretty interesting takes. You're using Above? Nice. All right, everyone. I had so much fun hanging out with you. Sorry, GM Night Fox, is that a question? How do you owlbear a real question? What? Thanks, Bane. Appreciate you. So Owlbear is free, which is great, right? And then they have these add-ons, plugins, modules, etc., extensions, if you will. And one of them is called Smoke Inspector. And Smoke Inspector allows you to use Dungeon Alchemist maps either from the Foundry exports or the UVTT exports on your Owlbear virtual tabletop. So essentially, you can export your map as, say, a Foundry map under the export panel, and then if you're using the Smoke Inspector plugin module extension, it should work. I'm just excited for all the updated art and information on the monsters, potentially new monsters, right? Like, aren't you all excited to see new stuff? Like, we know they're going to rehash a lot of old stuff, but I'm really excited for the new stuff, personally. But yeah, everyone, we're going to have to wrap up the stream here. So I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you for participating today with Mapmaker Monday. It was an absolute blast to hang out with you all and work on the caretaker's cabin a little bit today. We covered a lot of different topics today, support topics, teach outs, information about the development and the future of Dungeon Alchemist. I'm very excited to progress with this map, but I'm also excited to see how, you know, Fun with Objects and the development of it and more information becomes available over the next few weeks as we get, you know, closer and closer to the end of the quarter and closer to the next quarter. More and more information will be available. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate you so very, very much. You're what make these streams worthwhile. Otherwise, I'd just be talking into the ether and, you know, really just making a fool out of myself. So thank you for being here, for participating, whether you were lurking or actively chatting, whether you were a first-time viewer and you just got Dungeon Alchemist, or you've been watching for months and you're considering buying it. I appreciate you being here regardless. I hope you learned something new today. And I do want to let you know and educate you about a couple upcoming streams before we take off. Just a little bit of I guess you could call it paperwork before we wrap up the stream. Regardless. Irregardless is not a word. Anyway. what I was going to say is our next stream is called Office Hours. It is this Wednesday, and it is a Discord exclusive stream. We host it by a Discord exclusive, I mean it's only available on Discord. Discord can't be included in our group multi-streams, so we have set up a stream just for our Discord community every Wednesday. The point of that is to allow you to hang out with other community members, like-minded map makers, cartographers, GMs, and get to know the community, but also hang out and get support in real time. So during the Office Hours stream, it is another AMA format stream. We hang out, discuss people's campaigns and stat blocks and counters, maps, etc. So it's a great place to bounce ideas off of other GMs. Often we get distracted by pop culture and other things like that and just kind of hang out and discuss whatever. It's a more laid-back stream than the typical damn stream Mapmaker Monday. That is this Wednesday in our Discord at 10 a.m. Pacific till 12 p.m. Pacific. That starts at 1 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. UTC, I believe. So if you're interested in participating, I just dropped a link in chat. And you can click on that link, goes to our Discord. You can click interested on the event, which is like an RSVP, and it'll give you a reminder when the event goes live. That way, if you forgot or your calendar didn't remind you or whatever, then you can drop in. That stream is roughly 2 hours, and it's just a fun, like I said, hangout, chill sesh, but also you can get live support. And during the stream, we collect feedback that I usually will take notes on and pass to the devs. So it's a good way to have your suggestions, feedback, and just your community voice heard in general, okay? The next stream after that is Saturday, and that is the Dam Challenge, this upcoming Saturday. The Dam Challenge is a map-making contest we host on our Discord and our various stream platforms. Essentially, it's a way for you to challenge yourself to try and make new and interesting maps that are outside of your comfort zone. You make a map, share it, submit it in our Discord. If that map is, qualified for the Dam Challenge via the rules and the pinned in that channel. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here. So there's some rules pinned in the Dam Challenge channel. Make sure you follow those. If you follow the rules, your entry is qualified. You have a chance to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card and have your map be the first map featured on the stream. Good way to get your work out there in front of a lot of different eyes and kind of flex your map maker muscle. That stream, totally optional to participate, but it is a fun way to really push your map maker, skills to the limit and do something different. So I encourage you to participate. The current theme is camp. You have between now and the end of day on the 24th, if you want to participate, to submit a map. Midnight in your time zone on the 24th. Okay, anyway, moving on from that, thank you so much everyone for being here. Appreciate all of your support in these community initiatives. But I do have to take off, so we'll see you next time. I give a damn, all right? So, Mac out. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist theme commercial, and we're going to end the stream after that. See you later, everyone. Bye!
But can it handle curves?
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 Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map-making application for role-playing games, now comes with both round and diagonal walls. Create amazing professional maps for your players in seconds. Get it now on the Steam store.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Wonderful afternoon, evening, and night. See you later. Back out.